We knew that this decision to amend DRIPA was possible, but what are your thoughts now that you know that it's going to be amended?
Well, I believe that it will set us back in terms of the work that, so many people, communities, leaders, government have been doing to move forward in reconciliation. It's going to move us back. The Declaration Act is not the problem. It was co-developed with First Nations and passed unanimously in 2019 with the support of industry, business, and labor. And it is a tool that is provides for greater trust, stability, and economic certainty. So yeah, I really don't support that. I think that we should be doing the work around, the work that's encompassed in the action plan to be able to move it forward, not
Um,
backwards.
right. And so tell me what's been going on. I mean, for people who perhaps have not been following the Cowichan tribes case, uh, what has been going on in the past few months that has led up to this announcement?
Yeah, there's been a lot of misinformation about the Cowichan case that has caused a lot of fear and hysteria
Hmm.
and real threats to violence against Indigenous people. I mean, it really puts us in this space that we should not be in this day and age. And to say it, really simply and plainly, if you believe in private property, then you believe in Aboriginal title. Aboriginal title refers to the rights of Indigenous people that we had before contact with Europeans, and we still have those rights today. So we really need to move into a place where there's recognition, we're building certainty, we're working together. Looking and thinking about the possible amendments that may happen. To me, I the first thing I thought of was, back in the days when, Indigenous people weren't allowed to, hire legal counsel. That should not be the first thing that we're thinking about when we think about, DRIPA. It's something around, creating that stability. It's, around basic human rights for Indigenous people.
The significance of that decision, I mean, it is a landmark case for a lot of reasons. The Cowichan Nation argued that the land was never legally surrendered. That would be the case in a lot of land in British Columbia currently occupied by settlers who hold their land fee simple, according to the Crown rules of land ownership. There are a lot of people who are afraid that they're going to somehow lose their land or that their land will lose its value because it's in a contested area. Can you do anything to allay those fears?
Indigenous people do not seek to take private property away from others. We do seek recognition of lands that we own, which the Crown took for themselves. And this was, you know, that, big important piece in the Cowichan case.
Hmm.
And we also, seek compensation from the Crown on the lands past governments sold without accounting for Indigenous ownership. But we're all here together. We need to coexist and work together and not go into this fear-based space that we seem to be entering into.
Well, and we have heard calls from the BC Conservatives, for instance, to repeal the act altogether. Are you concerned that this could be the beginning of that process?
Definitely, I mean, it seems like we're in this space right now, not just in British Columbia, but around the world where things are very uncertain. We have legislation here, we have DRIPA here, and an action plan that can provide certainty, that can provide the framework for working with Indigenous communities, and we need to be able to lift that up and do that work together.
I guess some people think the most likely outcome here would be that the government awards, or pardon me, amends the DRIPA legislation to put more explicit power back into the hands of elected officials, because, as the premier said, he doesn't want the courts to have that much power. How does that sit with you?
Yeah, I mean, going to court is always the last, resort of First Nation communities. It's not something that we, do. It's not the first thing. We always try to, talk and bring, find resolution. Um, Amending the Declaration Act or repealing it would set reconciliation backwards and certainly put the economy at risk by increasing uncertainty
Mm.
and more legal challenges, and that's not what we want to see in this province. And that's could happen if we repeal it altogether.
Right. And so, briefly, because we're just about out of time, what is the next step then for you?
Well, work with Indigenous nations, work with the leaders and communities, and move forward. We have the tools right now to be able to do this work, and let's move forward in a way that doesn't set us back.
Uh, Marilyn Slett, thank you so much for your time this morning. We really appreciate it.
Cowichan.
All right. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.
That is Marilyn Slett, elected Chief Councillor of the Heiltsuk Tribal Council.